Was that the best throw ever? I mean, maybe Chris Collinsworth moved on from Mahomes. I don't know, guys. Caleb was pretty damn good, but he also made a lot of mistakes. We'll get into that. All the other crap he had in the division round. It was a long weekend. I'm just going to say that. Let's get this thing going, though.
No way to slow him down. You got Pinheiro.
Let him cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let him cook.
Is picked again.
Oh, they're going to take a shot. And he's got a man wide open. And it's incomplete. White is flagged. To the championship game. Here it is on the way. And the Denver Broncos have won it in overtime. The gun swift. Can he get to the edge? He hurdles. He's knocked out of the air by Quentin Lake. What a hit by Lake. Command in motion. Williams.
Oh shit, not good.
All kinds of trouble. Put it up for grabs in the end zone. He got it! They've done it again! Unbelievable! Huge extra point for the veteran Carlos Santos to tie. A deep drop. Williams has got time. Shot downfield in trouble. Is intercepted by Cam Curl.
To the AFC Championship.
There's Lutz putting the first points of the divisional round on the board. Pass, open, touchdown, touchdown, Buffalo Bills on 10 rushes. Here's another one to Cook. And Cook fumbles.
We need some milk.
The Broncos are right there. Harvey, they little sidearm pass. It's wide open to the lineman we just mentioned. Crum comes in as an eligible receiver. And the kick ties the game. And is rolling, planting, going. Here we go, Tony, to the end zone. They got it. What a call. Tried to load it up. Better head to the sideline if he wants another play. Oh, wants the football.
You never do that.
Lutz to end the half with a Denver 10-point lead. And they fumble again. They got to him from behind with Benito. And be brilliant at the basics. And there's Lutz, and that's just inside the right quick toss. It's Coleman, sidesteps the defender, and slides in for the touchdown. On 3rd and 5, Bills rush 4, pass is intercepted. Deep ball down the field, and he is intercepted by Quick pass. Shakir splits the defenders and is off and running. Shakir makes another one miss. Here's Allen. Drop it back, throwing it to the end zone, and it is hauled in. Kincaid, just as he did a week ago. For a first. Quick pass, it's on the ground. Shakir, did he pick it up cleanly? Well, the Bills think he did. Has this from 31, and the kick is first and 10.
They're going after him.
Going for the end zone, over the shoulder. Oh, Mims hauls it in. From 50, and the kick. It's long enough and they pick it up, and they go deep down the field, and the pass is caught. No, it's McMillan has the football.
They blocked it up perfectly. McMillan does a good job not getting. This. But we're gonna need you on this one, Gene.
Yeah. Again, lofts it down the field over the shoulder, and there's the flag on Taron Johnson.
And with that, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the NFL. Please like and subscribe if you guys are ready to get through all of these games. So you guys just saw the highlights from that insane Bills and Broncos game. And again, celebrating Martin Luther King Day today, bro. Again, he's a so important part of history. Again, I can get into that, but like, I kind of got to do an exam on that tomorrow, so I'm not going to get too deep into that. But anyways, Yes, the Denver Broncos are going to be moving on past the Buffalo Bills. They knocked them off 33-30 in overtime. This game was an absolute banger. I mean, again, all these games were in their own ways. As the Broncos, again, move on to the AFC Championship as the 1 seed. Again, they were very fresh in this game. That's the first thing I noticed. We'll get more into the stuff there. But again, they will be going to the AFC Championship for the first time since they won the Super Bowl back in 2015. They will be without Bo Nix, though, because he really effed up his ankle, as you guys saw in that intro. Good thing for him, though, is he gets to go to Cancun early if he really wants to. But yeah, Broncos are going to serve as a bye week for next week. I'm joking. We never really know what's going to happen with them. It'll be very interesting to see, though. We'll get into their speculating quarterback situation and cover that throughout the week. Also, guys, no power rankings. I kind of forgot that I stopped doing that last year, and I really, now that I think about it more, why would we go through 8 teams? That's kind of stupid. But hopefully that'll give me time to be able to do the promos for the 2 big games. And then, again, because I've been able to do that. This year, I should have time. If I don't get them out, I mean, I don't know. I got to lock in. Anyways, though, Bills, though, I don't even know where to start. Again, if you didn't already know, again, I didn't try to react to this in the intro. But, yes, Sean McDermott did get fired from the Bills. Again, he coached there for 9 years. He made the playoffs, what was it, 7 of those years? No, 8 of those. Yeah, 8 of those 9 years. They lost first year, again, if you don't remember, back in 2017, first year as the coach, he got them to the playoffs. Team that had no business being in the playoffs. But they were the 6th seed. They lost to the Jags 10-3 in what was a very ugly game in the wild card. Drafted Josh Allen the next year. They were very mediocre in 2018 with Nathan Peterman and all that. Again, Josh was in and out of the lineup. And then 2019, first year they made the playoffs. They had a very easy schedule, similar to this Patriots team this year. They didn't get an easy first-round game, and they ended up losing the Texans. And obviously, every year since then, they have at least won 1 playoff game. But yeah, Sean McDermott is now gone. There's no real sensical reason for him to be gone, other than, I don't know, they wanted to win the big game, and I guess he hasn't been able to do that. I mean, there's definitely some things we'll get into that for the reasons that they lost this game. That was his fault. But a lot of things came back to these players just not executing, to be honest with you guys. But again, the sequence of this game was also just absolutely insane. I mean, other than Denver putting up 17 points in the second quarter. This game was just absolutely, again, it was about as deadlocked as it gets. Bills, though, they have now lost all 7 of their games with Josh Allen at quarterback in overtime. 3 of those have been in the postseason. They've only been to 2 AFC championships, again, both against Kansas City. This was the year for them to do it, and they just didn't get it done. I'm just going to keep saying that. And again, the narrative for Josh Allen that he can't win the big game, the big one, I guess is the best way to put it, is going to be louder than ever. And I honestly think it is warranted. For Josh, though, he went 25-39 for 283, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, also fumbled twice, had 4 total turnovers. I think he nearly had 5, too. Josh, simply put, was not putting the ball in the right places in this game. You can watch the tape. A lot of his throws were very antsy. He was, again, I'm not going to criticize his footwork because he's probably the best quarterback in the league. But that was something, again, you look at Caleb Williams, the issues he had, even Stafford in a lot of the game against the Bears. Those were issues because of the weather that, again, really hurt them. But even, again, in this really good weather, he was just, again, simply put, he was not planning right, and a lot of throws were sailing on him because of that. Again, that's been an issue his entire career, but that was definitely evident in this game after, really all year. That's not been that big of an issue. Also took 3 sacks. I think that was a little bit wishy-washy. Again, I'm not going to get too deep into that. They don't want like this is an absolutely long movie. But still, Josh in this game definitely was incredibly disappointing. But again, he did make the big throws there towards the end of the game. The interception, obviously, highly controversial. I'm telling you, I know some people that are not happy with that. But we'll get to that in a little bit. James Cook, 24 carries, 117 yards. He got really bottled up after a strong first half. I think it was 16 carries for like 80 yards at one point. And then after that, it kind of devolved into like I think maybe 2 explosive runs, and the rest was kind of just unproductive. A lot of their first down production, offense in that first and the overtime just really weren't getting things going because they couldn't really run the ball effectively on first down. Hats off that Denver defense. They really adjusted well, and also that offensive line just couldn't create displacement, something that they have had a really good job of doing that this year. Josh Allen had a couple of really explosive runs. Again, we all know about the fumble before the half. And speaking of that, again, the Sean McDermott decision to be aggressive there, I'm not completely against it, but you guys saw you don't do that. You go into the half, this game would be tied, and you guys probably would have won it if that wasn't the case, if we think about that. But more on that for the Bills. Just the idea of having that, yeah, they would have won this game. But you look at like what the Bears did at the end of the Rams game. Everyone's talking about how they did all the momentum and stuff. But guys, you realize that's like the season. You look at what the Seahawks did back in Week 16. That really wasn't, again, as big as of a game that was. Again, even if you lost that, the repercussions aren't as seismic as these are. So again, you look at what the Bears did. I won't say took the conservative option. They took the rational option, which was we're taking this game to OT. We will have a chance to control what happens in this game to a certain extent. But again, you look at, well, you're risking a lot less in terms of, we're talking about like an analytical standpoint. That was the right move by the Bears. We'll get to that later. But for the Broncos in this game, and the fact they got that field goal, I mean, like, was it really worth it, Bills? I think you got the ball to start the second half too. Again, you thought like double dipping and stuff, I guess. But like, the risk reward just for me wasn't there, to be honest with you guys. I really like, again, when a team's up, I'm again, even though analytically it doesn't make sense, if you're up by like 7 points, you get up by 7, you get you take the extra point, you go up by 8, which again, but then if you go for 2, you go up by 9. I'm a big proponent of going for that 9 in most cases, because I'm just, that's my thing in terms of like when you're in the lead. But when you're again, when it's like super close, not the biggest fan of it. But at the same time, it can come back to burn you if they go for 2. So very, again, mind game things with that, but just keep that, again, in mind with this. Donkey, though, 6 for 83, a touchdown. He has been really good the past couple weeks. He's a guy who will probably get a decent contract extension at some point in the future. Klushkir had his best game in really all season, to be honest with you guys. He was running a lot of effective routes underneath, made it really hard in these cornerbacks to kind of pass things off a lot, and a lot of their zone coverage is predicated on the guys being able to pass off effectively, and that just didn't happen in this game because of the fact that Klushkir made it really hard on them, just with his adjustments on routes. And again, just hats off to him there. Ray Davis had a couple big-time conversions. Dawson Knox, I think he dropped a touchdown, but other than that, I mean, he was wide open most of his routes. He was, again, really effective downfield. Brandon Cooks didn't have the same magic we saw earlier in the season, but he's a guy that I think should definitely get a chance with a different team if it's not this team next year, because let's be honest, guys, he was the only guy in this offense for most of the past couple weeks who's actually been able to do anything, and he was their only big play guy for, again, the stretch of the playoff run they had here. McCole Hardman had a touchdown. I think he dropped a bad pass too. Keon Coleman's a bum. I guess he got in the end zone too. But on that, guys, I don't want to talk too much else about the Bills offense. We knew what was going to go on here. Josh is very simple. The narrative is he can't win the big one, and that's kind of what happened. Defensively, it was a lot of their issues came down to their secondary. Their D-line simply didn't get pressure, but honestly, guys, I wasn't really expecting them to. And also the linebackers were absolutely fantastic in coverage and really good against the run. I had no complaints about how they played, really, other than the fact they weren't aggressive, which again is kind of a compromise you're going to have to make here. But for this secondary, Tre'Davious White crashing out like that, he's now a 10-year vet, having the best year since honestly his 2019 season, where he was one of the best, if not the best cornerback in football, other than Stephon Gilmore that year. And he just, again, pulls that stuff. It's just, again, it's just kind of like, what are you doing, bro? This is a playoff game. You not only hold your cool, but you literally almost you could have cost your team the game there. But yeah, that was bad coverage too. I mean, yeah, Marvin Mims is a fast dude, bro. But I mean, Tre'Davious White versus Marvin Mims, at least this season, that's a guy that he should absolutely just completely blanket. Again, he just got burned there. Teron Johnson's a little bit more ambiguous in terms of what you'd want to call on that. I think it was still PI because he just simply didn't turn his head and he also got beat. Again, if a cornerback's getting beat, that's the first thing you look at least on tape, where you're saying, is that a reason for pass interference? Again, it's not the main reason, but again, if the guy doesn't turn his head and he's just basically trying to break up the play, I mean, there's only so much you can do there. There's some other things. Obviously, the Jaquan McMillan interception, that was a little bit of a tough one to call, but obviously, again, at the end of the day, he took the ball from him. I'm like, again, he didn't have possession when he hit the ground either, like, for Brandon Cooks, that is. So, I mean, he literally took the ball from him. Like, you lost the freaking wrestle for the ball. Like, it's that simple. If you really want it to be a catch, just make the play. Joan Walker gets that interception too. I kind of forgot about that. But on tape, guys, a lot of things that's on the Bills defense stem back from the secondary just simply not winning their matchups as often as they really were the past couple weeks. And that's because they were really focusing on stuff, specifically Cam Lewis and Cole Bishop, who both were very good, but again, they weren't really doing a much downfield because they really didn't have them much playing a lot of, two-eye shell there. For the Broncos, though, Bo Nix obviously broke his ankle. That's a heartbreaker for him. He's out for the rest of the postseason. They will be hosting the AFC Championship next Sunday at 3. Again, I'll have the predictions for you guys probably out by Saturday, or maybe not, a little earlier maybe. But yes, Bo Nix, really heartbreaking situation for him here. It'll be interesting to, again, see what they're able to figure out with Jarrett Stidham there. I don't expect this offense to really be doing much next Sunday. Again, it's a very, very bizarre situation. We really have never seen this. Obviously, everyone points to Nick Foles. I mean, what is he? Jeff Hostetler back with the Giants. It's the last time we saw this. But yeah, this is a very bizarre situation here. Again, it'll be again. I want to see what Jarrett Stidham can do. He, again, started for the Broncos back in 2023 at the end of the season after they benched Russell Wilson. Really didn't do a ton for them. But again, he hasn't played in 2 years. So, like, what are you going to really expect? Bo Nix, though, in this game, again, even though this isn't really that big of a deal because we'll just talk about this in the offseason, he played really freaking well. I think that's the best way to put it. Definitely some misreads on third down. That was probably the biggest issues I saw from him. But other than that, guys, again, he broke his freaking ankle. I think criticism can definitely wait for the offseason. But, I mean, hell of a game from him, bro. He stayed on the field, won the damn game. Again, hats off to him. Running game, they didn't run the ball well at all. The offensive line just really was being very compact and conservative, which was the right move in this game, so I didn't really see that. But again, they were trying to target some guy, their matchups in that secondary, which is kind of bizarre considering they only had 3 receivers in terms of a personnel standpoint, or by a personnel standpoint, but it worked out. Marvin Mims, again, he had his best game in a really long time. I think probably back to week 17 of last year. Cortland Sutton, I mean, I guess he was out there. He got locked up by Christian Benford, though. Again, that's really the only guy in that secondary that really played well. RJ Harvey, I guess he made some plays. Again, he's really the big Jesus. And if we're talking about an efficiency standpoint from this offseason, again, dump off them are, again, probably the best part of this offense. Pat Bryant got injured. Little Jordan Humphrey had a beautiful touchdown there at the end of that first half. Again, reminded me of Tom Brady's touchdown versus the Packers back in that NFC Championship, or really the only one he ever played in. But other than that, guys, that's all I have from this Denver offense. Offensive line's going to have to really really run block better next week. Which means they're going to be a lot more aggressive. Defensively, a lot of the same things we saw from the regular season showed up in this one. I mean, they forced like 4 fumbles. I mean, that's ridiculous. Again, Jaquan McMillan, obviously the game of his life. PJ Locke, again, not a guy you really look at as a true starting safety, but he really proved himself in this one. Talon Funga was rock solid against the run, despite maybe giving him a little bit too much separation coverage at points. Alex Singleton, he played out of his mind. Again, their edge rushers were absolutely gross. Malcolm Roach, I think maybe only 2 pass rush wins. The fact, again, he got like 5 pressures out of that was crazy. Riley Moss, he had kind of an up and down game, seeing with Patrick Tan. Neither of those guys really played out of their minds. They did enough to win. Now Patrick Tan's the best cornerback in football, so you only get, like, that's not really saying much there. Zach Allen, and I guess Nick Mead got some pressure. I didn't chart them as much because, again, they're going to get pressure no matter what I see there, unless something fascinating happened. Not really too surprised there. Again, their defense just showed out and did their thing, despite a lot of the contained issues that did show up, which, again, will definitely need to be fixed for next week. Other than that, though, I mean, the Broncos going 1-4 in the red zone didn't help them. That's really odd for you guys in this one. Again, it came down to the fact that, again, Josh Allen can't win the big one. Sean McDermott's now gone. Again, the outlook of this team will definitely look it forward to when we get into those, again, head coaching, hiring, tier rankings, which will probably come out for sometime in the next couple weeks. That's all I have from this one, guys. Really, really long one. This next one should be a lot shorter because, I mean, oof. Did you see the next game?
Rocking and rolling here in Seattle, the divisional playoff with these 2 division rivals, the 49ers and the Seahawks. Let's go. This atmosphere. And here we go. It's Rashid Shaheed.
Shaheed breaks through. Still going. A flag flies. Shaheed's going to take it all the way. Let's see if it stands.
4th and 1. Use It's not going to work. Myers up and through.
Saw Robinson.
Over the middle there. Good throw and catch. It's Tonjus who lost the football. It's picked up by Julian Love. Seattle's got it. Darnold looking, firing, end zone. It is caught. Touchdown. Jackson Smith and Jigba. 4-man rush. Purdy pressure. Steps away. Being chased. Throws it back. He's got a man open. It is caught by Tonjus. And this kick is up. And Pinheiro drills it right down the middle. And it is long enough. And cuts back. Kenneth Walker is in. Touchdown Seahawks. 4th and 2. Purdy in trouble, sacked. Leonard Williams and the Seahawks take over. Here's Myers, 24-yarder. Easy for him, up and good. That's time. A lot of it. There's just nobody open. Now underneath he goes, and that's intercepted. Ernest Jones down. Kenneth Walker again to the left. Sprinted through. Walker's down another. Touchdown Seattle. Eman Maury gets away. Purdy running for his life. Chase out. Throws as far as he can take it. And it's knocked down. Incomplete. Walker looking for the trifecta. He's got it. Touchdown Seahawks. Seattle has it.
And on Saturday night, as you guys just saw, the Niners absolutely got annihilated by the Seahawks with to the tune of a final score of 41-6, as Seattle will be moving to their first NFC Championship since 2015. It's way back, right? 2015, maybe? No. Yeah, 2015, right? They literally haven't been there that long. That's insane, right? Yeah, that's crazy. Anyway, though. Yeah, that 2015 Seattle team, obviously, that was the year they, again, should have ran the ball. The Legion of Boom, it was really the last year they were truly, I guess they were good, pretty dominant in 2015, but truly dominant in that 2014 season. But literally the first time they've made the NFC Championship since the year, literally, yeah, that was 11 seasons ago. That's crazy. Also, for Seattle, it's their first home playoff win since Wait, ow, what else? They haven't won a home playoff game in that long. First home playoff win since, or really first playoff win since 2019 when they beat the Eagles in the wild card. First home playoff win since. Let's think about this. Seahawks 2016, 17. I think this is the last time on a home playoff game, right? Because they lost that. Yeah, it was Lions 2017. It had to have been this game. It was this one. This is their last home playoff. This was their last playoff win? No. This was their last. Wait, this is confusing. This was their last home playoff win. 2017. 9 years ago. That's crazy to think about. But anyways, this game was obviously highlighted by the fact that their defense is the best in the league, at least right now. I mean, Houston's out, so I mean, we'll get them in a little bit. But as of right now, the 4 teams left are the best defense. They have been truly dominant the past couple games. I'm going to keep mentioning to you throughout the, not throughout the week, because I'll see you guys on Saturday for the predictions. But, yes, that Seattle defense versus that Rams offense is probably the most interesting matchup we will probably see in years for the in terms of the playoff preview sort of area there, because of the fact that the Rams put up nearly 600 yards on them. I understand that they weren't healthy, but Devontae Adams wasn't out there, guys. Again, he obviously didn't have a great game against the Bears, which we'll get to, but I'm just saying, again, it's definitely a possibility. But for the Seahawks, they will be playing, again, they'll have an extra day off, but they'll be playing on Sunday at 6:30 for a chance to go to Santa Clara for the Super Bowl. Niners, again, they wanted to, again, play with the possibility of themselves getting to the Super Bowl and being the home team. That was just not in the playing cards this year, as this game was over, again, on the first kick of the game. I mean, again, literally 4 seconds into the game was literally over. Again, if the Niners, especially, they literally scored. Again, the game was over before, like, literally as it started. That's insane to, like, in the most literal sense. That's exactly what it was. But for them, they fall in this game. It's the first time under Kyle Shanahan. Again, when they made the playoffs, they have not made the NFC Championship. Again, he was 7-0 prior to the NFC Championship as their head coach. So again, first loss in that sense as well. So again, the fact they even made it this far in the first place is pretty crazy. Again, they just beat Philadelphia last week. Still won a playoff game, which again is great. But just again, the fact they still even got here was pretty crazy. Again, but you look at the fact that, though, again, the really takeaway for the Niners is the past 2 games you guys played against Seattle, your offense did just simply couldn't do anything. It's that simple. Obviously, defensively, there's a lot of things we'll get into, but obviously, again, the biggest thing is the fact that this offense, again, they literally couldn't put up 9 points, no touchdowns in the past 2 games against this team. Again, you're just not going to win games when that's the case. For Brock Purdy, 15-27, 140, an interception. Definitely a frustrating game for him. He was able to get out to the pocket and make some throws there, but really, guys, he wasn't able to do anything in the pocket. His efficiency was probably one of the worst we've seen out of him in, I wouldn't say really years, but in terms of a playoff game for sure. Also, it's Brock Purdy's first playoff loss prior to what was I going to say? First playoff loss that he started the entire game before the Super Bowl, like, ever. So just keep that in mind. It's kind of a reach. But anyway, running game, they couldn't run the ball. Honestly, guys, it's probably something that hasn't been really overlooked this year. This offensive line really hasn't really been that effective as a run block unit. Something that really, again, we look at the past Kyle Shanahan teams, that's been a big, big part of their game plan. Again, it just hasn't really worked out this year. CMC on 11 carries really didn't get anything going. He hasn't really been much of an explosive guy at all this year. Definitely something to look at in terms of how they, again, changed schematically in the offseason, especially with Kate Kubiak there. Not defensively. Receiving-wise, again, Jake Tanya had the killer fumble, but other than that, again, he was probably their most productive player in this game, not only statistically, but just on tape. CMC, I will say, did run some really good routes. I just don't think that he was really, again, the first priority like he is every other game, so kind of bizarre in that sense. Juwan James is going to be looking for a contract extension. I think he might even get one this year. It could just be the same thing as last year, though, because his production really doesn't speak to the numbers that I think he wants and might even deserve, at least in terms of his talent. Other than that, though, I mean, Ricky Pearsall, he wasn't even healthy. He just, again, would he play like the first quarter or something like that? But again, we all know, guys, this offense, again, they got absolutely destroyed. Again, defensively, many of the same things showed up. I will say this dude right here should get a chance to, Sam, I can't pronounce your name, should get a chance to be their 3rd guy next year. They need more passers still. Again, anyone could say that. I mean, I wish I could say there was something different with them. I will say both corners kind of had an off game. John Lenore and Ronald Green weren't great. Their run fits, though, were really bad in this game. That was probably the biggest thing I saw. It was kind of just like, I wouldn't say ill-prepared, but they just really weren't. They got overwhelmed. And the fact that, again, they were so stressed on not giving up the big plays. Big play, I think, was also a big thing. But also, they didn't really force any turnovers for a Niners defense that I think needed to do that in this game. Definitely a little bit of disappointment in that regard. But again, the fact they were beat the hell so bad and that they need so much more in this pass rush going in the offseason is definitely something to look towards. But again, Niners defense, I think, again, you weren't going to be doing much in this anyway. Meanwhile, for Seattle, again, there's not really too much much get into for them. Again, we knew their defense was really good. Offensively, the biggest thing I want to stress is Sam Darnold doesn't need to make any big plays. This is a team that can't get to the Super Bowl. Again, they're a game away from doing it. They ran the ball really freaking well in this game. Anyone could have told you that. Unfortunately, Zach Charbonnet did tear his ACL. He will be out for the rest of the playoffs. That's a big blow for them. Not Bo Nix, but still, very big blow for them there. Rashid Shaheed, I mean, again, he's just an explosive play waiting to happen. Kenneth Walker, I would be shocked if he puts up these numbers next week, but we'll have to wait and see for that. He was a taking time bomb in this game. The offensive line completely dominated. Gray Zabel might be the best overall guard in football right now, at least how he's been playing recently. He is just that good. And then you look at the receiving. Cooper Kupp, 5 for 60, huge third down catch. One of his better games of his season. JSN had a touchdown. I mean, they just completely bottled him up. I will say that. But kind of did, again, the sacrifice of the rest of this offense. But again, pretty simple, guys. The narrative with the Seahawks team right now is if Sam Darnold doesn't even make the big plays and this defense is playing the way they will be able to, I'm telling you right now, this defense will be in for a rude awakening next week. They can win with Sam Darnold. The question is, can that actually really, again, be a reality? Defensively for them, DeMarcus Lawrence obviously had a monster game. Leonard Williams has probably been one of the better defensive tackles going over the past 5 years in this season. Nick Amanawari had a big time game. 2 forced fumbles by DeMarcus Lawrence as well. Again, they just got after it. A lot of the penetration up the middle really hurt the Niners, kind of efficient plays they go to. And also, again, just fantastic play by Julian Love, and where is he? Nick Amanawari. Those two guys just were flying around the field. The safeties, I will say, were kind of not the safeties. Corners definitely exploitable in this game, but I don't really think the Niners ever really got to the point of actually doing that. But again, Ernest Jones, he's been phenomenal this year too. I mean, this defense is just littered with guys that are having either career years or just have, again, elite players like Devon Witherspoon on that group. And even then, he didn't even bring his A game. Stats, though, for this game, again, neither team really had a ton of yardage. It was a lot of turnovers and just, again, really just big, ill-advised plays, to be honest with you guys. 3 turnovers by the Niners really hurt them, did them in this one. Also, atrocious red defense by the Niners. Again, I understand there were only 4 of 6 for Seattle, but again, when you go in the, red zone 6 times, probably isn't good for the, again, on the Niners standpoint. But brutal loss to the Niners in this one. I mean, but at the same time, again, you guys were beat the hell and back. I mean, the fact you even got it this far, at least in a lot of ways, is again, a testament to your weak schedule. Not trying to backhand comment you guys, but I mean, I had to. And also the fact that, again, you got a really good coach. With that said, though, see you next week, Seattle. Let's get to our Sunday games, and the first of which was even worse than
They're going to throw. And complete. Douglas, touchdown, Patriots. The Texans can't get on the board, and they can't. Nick Chubb, his first carry. First down, Houston. Up with his first of this year. And first ever in the playoffs. May turned around. There was no one there, so he goes for Stroud. End zone. Kirk. Touchdown. May, end zone, the catch, the touchdown. Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Back to work, Drake May wanted to air it out, and this ball comes out. Easy on this cold, wet day, and Fairbairn knocks it through. Shortest third down they faced. Anderson knocked it out, and it's recovered by Alshire. Off, it's Marks. He ran into a wall, lost a shoe. Ball comes out. And the young man from Hawaii. Anderson coming off the edge. May steps into it, takes a shot downfield. And caught for the touchdown, Kayshon Boutte. Stroud is going to float it downfield. Hutchinson. It is incomplete.
And with this result, we do have the AFC Championship set, as the Patriots will be heading to Denver next week for a peculiar bye week is probably the best way to put it. I'm joking. I'm going to say that, though. I'm telling you guys on Saturday, or next Saturday, I'm going to be talking about this. But Patriots knock off the Texans 28-16 in a game that really neither offense did anything of specialty in. I mean, yeah, the Patriots had got their yardage, but like it was definitely a turnover-filled game, as you might expect. As combined, there were 8 turnovers, and I think plenty, and I mean plenty of fumbles to go around. But again, in the snow, the heated field didn't make it any better, as the Patriots, I don't know why they do that. But this game really came down to the fact that after the Texans took a lead, CJ Stroud threw 4 picks in like the second quarter or something like, and ridiculous sequence for them. I think it was one of the first, through the second, but ridiculous sequence from him there that really cost him this game. The fumbles, the fact his offense just couldn't do anything in that second half. Those were the big highlights for them, though. Texans now fall to 0-7 in the divisional round. 3 straight seasons that they have won a wild card game and have fallen in the divisional round. Snaps a franchise record 10-game winning streak as well. Again, a lot of people want to blame C.J. Stroud for this loss. There's a lot of other things that go into it, but yes, his turnover happy mistakes the past 2 weeks have done them in, especially in this one. Patriots, though, we'll get to them in a little bit, but yeah, they now with this win have combined for the most for the same amount of wins that they've had the 3 prior seasons. 2022 they won 8 games. The past 2 years they won 4. This year, in terms of again around the playoff wins, they've literally won 16 games. That is crazy. But for the Texans, C.J. Stroud, again, I already talked about it. He played awful. Most of his turnovers came from the fact that he was hesitant to make the, I won't say hard throw, but that throw, he knew he had to anticipate it right on time. And if he wasn't completely there, he was not comfortable making that play. And if there was pressure, it was even worse. CJ is always a guy that I look at to be able to not only like pre-snap, predetermine where the pressure is going to be, but also be able to anticipate, if that doesn't work, what the simulated pressure might look like. And the fact that in this game he just really didn't do that at all was something that I just found very bizarre. You look at the play fakes and all that. The play action just did not work because this team can't run the ball. Joe Mixon being out this entire season, I think, was a big reason for that as well. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds into that, but C.J. Stroud is not an effective quarterback when he does not have a good running game. Again, you could look back to 2023 and say, what about that? Guys, the Browns' defense that year against this Texans team really didn't match up well, as many people might not have thought. But still, for C.J. Stroud in this game, he did not have an effective running game, and that really hindered his ability, play on time, which is something that he has really never had a problem with. So, understanding again the turnover issues he had last week, and the fact that in this game he just really didn't respond to any sort of pressure is a monster issue. But anyways, receiving wise, again, Charlie Kirk had the touchdown. My bad, Christian Kirk. I'm sorry. Oh my God, I'm sorry. But other than that, Dalton Schultz, he was out there, I guess. He had a 42-yard play. I didn't really, I remember that. But still, a lot of this offense's troubles came from the fact that, again, not only obviously they can't run the ball, but they just don't have anything they can just simply go to get into a rhythm. I think this offensive line is very, very over-ridiculed is probably the best way to put it. They're definitely not a great unit, but they're way better than I think even coming into the year that people thought they were. Like, many people are like, oh, this is the worst offensive line in the league. I mean, they're not good, but they're better than, again, they held up to that pressure somewhat. But the biggest problem is, again, I'm going to keep saying this, they don't have anything to go to. Without Nico Collins out there, they weren't really in a situation where they could say, that guy's going to either make a play or get someone else open. There's no spacing. When you can't run the ball, it's very, very hard. Again, if you don't have C.J. Stroud, I think if Nico was out there, it would have made a big difference. But running game, it's very, very hard to fall back on something. And the fact they weren't able to do that in this game is the major reason that this game kind of dissolved in what it was. Obviously, C.J. Stroud, 6 turnovers or 6 turnover-worthy plays didn't help things either. Defensively, though, Azeez Al-Shaair was flying around the field. He was terrible in coverage, though. I got to tell you guys that. He was just so undisciplined. But other than that, he made plays, so who really cares? The edge rushers, Will Anderson had 3 sacks. I still think Jared Verse is better, but yeah, he's really freaking good. Daniil Hunter also had 2 sacks. I think combined they had 15 pressures, something ridiculous like that. They were getting pressure on every snap, guys. Will Campbell, Morgan Moses got absolutely roasted in this game. Tommy Tunungai is a very underrated player. He will be getting a solid contract this season. How big? I wouldn't say maybe Milton Williams' contract, but in terms of the impact he had down the stretch this season, that is what he deserves. Derek Stingley kind of had an impatient sort of game as we saw last week. But really in this game, he wasn't put in a lot of situations where he had to make a ton of plays, which most of the time is the case because, he's the freaking best cornerback in the league most of the time. Linebackers outside of Azeez Al-Shaair had interesting games. I don't have too much else to talk about with them, though, because, again, they did their jobs. Defensively, the biggest issues I saw were on the cornerbacks. They really weren't, they just really weren't blanking the receiver the way I think that they usually do, which I think comes back from the fact that, again, they kind of just relied on D-line to get pressure most of the time, which ended up happening. They forced, 4 fumbles in this game. You only can do so much. Meanwhile, for the Patriots, though, against this elite defense, you definitely saw a lot of struggle there, as you might have expected. Again, they did score 3 touchdowns, though, which came back to those turnovers they forced. Obviously, the pick 6 for Marcus Jones was the big time score for them. But other than that, you look at this offense and how Drake May played. He did not do well. After that first strip sack, a lot of his throws were hesitant, but at the same time, he still was able to stand in there with enough confidence to where, again, they were able to move the ball somewhat. But at the same time, again, against this defense, he definitely had a tough game in that regard. But in the red zone, he was money. Stephon Diggs touchdown, Demario Douglas touchdown. I guess that wasn't in the red zone, but those were both dots. Occasional booty touchdown was a beauty. Not as good as a throw we're gonna get to with Caleb Williams later, but again, he had himself a game. Ramondre Stevenson, this running game were very solid. Trayvon Henderson, he's not bringing, I'm going to say this probably for the rest of the time or until he becomes a consistent player. He's not bringing away a 70-yard touchdown. He's kind of a useless back. Again, out to that Jets game again. The Jets are a poverty team. But other than that, guys, Hunter Henry kind of didn't get utilized the way I wanted him to. A lot of his blocking assignments were kind of arbitrary to what we're used to seeing. And then also you had a guy like Austin Hooper kind of be put in those key situations, which I love Austin Hooper, guys, but he's not going to be able to get open down the field like he did back in 2018 or anything like that. Keeping that in mind, though, you look at this Patriots offense in this loss, or in this win, a lot of the instability came from the fact that their tackles could not handle those dudes. That I really think just throws back to Austin Hooper being put downfield instead of just blocking there. But that's just me. Drake May, I mean, he did well enough. The 4 fumbles are inexcusable, but I mean, the interception you kind of deal with. Again, it's a really freaking good defense. You were going to expect some turbulence, and that's definitely what happened for them. Defensively, probably one of the more underrated groups in the league. I will say though, CJ Stroud playing the way he did and them rattling in the way they did definitely was a big advantage for them. But still, Christian Gonzalez absolutely dominated. Carlton Davis had his best game of the season. Craig Woodson, insane game for a rookie. Tonga had a sack. I didn't even notice that. And Fernie Jenkins finally got some pressure. I mean, the things they needed to happen just got done. And even Caleb on Chase, who got double teamed most of his snaps, was absolutely gross in this game. What a career renaissance for him. On that, though, this front seven just completely owned the line of scrimmage, and the fact that really in the secondary they didn't give up anything was the main reasons for their defensive turnovers, takeaways they forced. But again, 5 takeaways forced there. I mean, 5 takeaways is just, again, it's an astronomical number. It is very rare that even happens. The fact they were able to do it was huge. I will say that their third down conversion rate is going to have to go up next week if they're going to beat the Broncos. That's all I'll have on them, though. And really, guys, I don't have too much more to get onto this one, just because, again, we look at this Patriots team in this game. It came down to the fact they didn't make as many many huge mistakes, even though they still probably turned the ball at the same amount of time. And again, they got through that Texans defense and said, yeah, our defense is pretty good too. But then that's all I have from this one. Let's get to our Sunday night cap, which was a instant classic.
It is a frigid January night along the lakefront in Chicago, Illinois. Perfect weather for the 17th ever. 4th and 3. Bears going. Williams throwing too high. It's intercepted. Kobe Durant got it. 2nd and goal. It's on the ground. Williams to the end zone for the touchdown. 4th and goal for the Bears. Williams, first look not there. Back in the end zone. DJ Moore. Touchdown Chicago. For the moment, Santos from 48. Carlos Santos knocks it through. Knuckleball, but through. Williams. Now here's in trouble. Durant's got this one. Interception. Nakua running off the edge. Hit, but he gets the first down. Inside of 9 to go. Kyron Williams bouncing to the outside. Williams to the end zone. The Rams take the lead. Williams moves him. He's back. Inside throw broken up by Omar Speights. 4th and inches. Williams runs left. He got it.
And they're moving it down the field.
Stafford pressured. Got rid of it. Sideline Adams. Yes, a catch. Been a thicker pressure moment to send the Rams to the championship game. Mavis from 42 on line, and it's good. And the Los Angeles Rams go to the championship game.
Alright guys, last game of Divisional Weekend was an absolute banger, as this one will definitely go down for at least the next 5 years as one of the better games we've seen in a while, as the Los Angeles Rams improbably are able to knock off the Chicago Bears here, again, to punch their ticket to Seattle next Sunday night, as they come in here to Chicago in this cold weather. Caleb Williams, Bears, look like it's the team of destiny. Again, best throw we've seen all season, if not one of the best throws we've ever seen, as he drifted 26.2 yards behind the line of scrimmage to complete a pass. That's the longest in NFL history, at least behind the line of scrimmage. Again, you've never seen that. No one will probably ever make that throw again. But he did it. And what are you thinking? They're going to do it. They're going to pull it off. They're going to do it again. This team is inevitable. They go for the extra point, and I guess the rest is history. Is that the way you want to put it? It really doesn't matter, though, because, again, you look at this Bears team in that situation. 17-16. They are down. Extra point ties it up, goes to OT, which I think, in my opinion, at least we look at this analytically and in a rational sense, in terms of a takeaway from this game. That was the right choice. If you take the extra point, you guarantee yourself, again, in control of what ends up happening. Obviously, if you Again, the Rams have the ball first, go down the field, score a touchdown, and get the 2-point conversion. The best you can do is a touchdown, 2-point conversion. But even then, you give your defense a chance to win you guys the game. That's the thing. Obviously, you wouldn't trust this Bears defense 99% of the time. But the way they were playing in this game, again, that's the right move to make. It's the freaking playoffs, guys. That is the right move to make. I will say, though, you got to risk it to win the thing, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Look what the Seahawks did against the Rams back in week 16. Obviously, big difference. I already talked about, again, the side of why they shouldn't have gone for the 2-point conversion. But at the same time, guys, 17-16, you miss that. You're going to get crucified, obviously, because, I mean, like, what the hell are you doing? Just go to OT. But they would have got it. Just saying. They had the Rams in a chokehold there. It's that simple. With that said, though, Bears, this is the best season you guys have had in the last at least 15 seasons. We're getting to Caleb Williams and his outlook going into next year and crap, probably over the next 5 months. I mean, like, hopefully. But, yeah. Bears, hats off to y'all. Great season. This game was a hell of a game. There's no other way to put it. For the Rams, though, they'll be heading to Seattle next week. Stafford in this game didn't really do a lot that was really encouraging. He took 4 sacks. I don't think he's taken 4 sacks in the game this season. Maybe once, maybe twice. Who knows? They lacked explosives, though. The Rams offense flat out didn't move the ball the way they needed to in this game. This is the best offense in football. They didn't look like anything remotely close to that. The weather was obviously part of that. Matthew Stafford landed on his thumb and he was screaming, or his finger, whatever. It was this finger, my bad. This finger. But, yes, he was not good enough in this game. A lot of the passes he missed were either errant or just simply weren't there. I mean, I will say, McVay's play calling in this game was more than questionable. I understand Kyron still got 21 carries, and technically the numbers weren't that bad. But he should have gotten it. Honestly, guys, they probably should have ran the ball 50 times in this game. Again, 30 carries for Kyron, 20 for Corum. They would have ran the ball 50 times. I think that would have literally taken the air out of the ball. And the Bears, I don't even know if they would have gotten more than 6 or 7 possessions. But anyway, anyways, there. For Kyron in this offense, guys, again, he was really the only production they had in that stretch where, again, there were really, like, no points scored. It was, like, after the half until, like, part of the fourth quarter. Like, there were just, again, no points scored in that third quarter, like, whole third quarter. So, that's really all the Rams offense had. Again, his team, again, they were just punting it back and forth there. For receiving, Puka got shut down in this game. He still made the big play there to, again, set them up, though. Colby Parkinson just continues to be a huge guy for them. Jordan Whittington got used in the first drive, and we didn't see him again. He's a guy that creates separation. Again, he had his best career game against Chicago last year in Week 4 when Kupp and Nukua were out. But the fact, again, they just kind of got him out of the offense was very bizarre. I will say, I wish, it was Tutu Atwell even playing? I think he was out there, right? Yeah, he was there. I was very confused why he wasn't getting put out there for a deep ball or two, because I'm going to be honest, guys, that the Rams didn't take many shots downfield in this game. I think that was part of the reason guy like Kevin Byard, usually, again, this season just had a complete emergence as one of the better safeties in the league, if not the biggest playmaking safety in the league this season. Really wasn't held on us at all in this one. Kyron made some nice catches. Tyler Higbee had a big play, but honestly, guys, when you look at this Rams offense, the fact they weren't able to find their explosives and really sustain drives was a big reason that, again, they weren't able to, put up as many points as you're used to seeing out of them. But at the end of the day, they still figured out a way to win it, and the biggest thing out of all of it, what's Chicago's strength on defense? We'll get to the compromise they made. They turn over the ball. Take away the ball. The Rams just didn't let that happen in this game. The fact, again, it was close. But, again, that was definitely something that I think, again, to honor them for, again, a good sense. But, honestly, guys, they did not win this game. The Rams defense did that. Despite us getting walked down by Caleb Williams on that last drive, there's an absolutely insane play. Miscommunication with Kobe Durant, who probably, without him on the field, they would have lost. They would have given up over 30 points. I'll tell you that Kobe Durant was out there. He absolutely freaking dominated DJ Moore in this game. Kobe Durant, 2 interceptions. He was huge. Again, the last play, I mean, that's what he'll be known for, but his actual performance was way better than that. Emmanuel Forbes got injured, and they didn't even start him, so weird things going on with him, but he is the Rams' best corner if you didn't already figure that out. Roger Curry stepped up. Jalen McCall also stepped up big time. Their pass rush didn't get a single sack. I mean, it's really, I'll be honest, guys, Caleb Williams is just one of those quarterbacks, if you don't get a sack on him, you're not, like, too surprised by that, but especially with how that Bears offensive line played, which wasn't ideal for their usual performance, I was a little disappointed when I saw Braden Fisk really didn't get any pressure, too. It was kind of rough in that sense. Quentin Lake, still coming back here. He didn't look awesome, but I will say he was a little bit quicker to the ball, which, again, was good to see. Poona Ford got, like, a couple of really nice plays. He was really the only guy on this defensive line consistently making plays. Cam Curl, probably the player of the game on this defense, though. 13 tackles, game-saving interception there. Great dive, great closing the ball. Everyone's talking about DJ Moore and what he did on that play, but Cam Curl is the guy who actually made the play. Nate Landman, 10 tackles. He was doing his own thing. He's just been fantastic for them. Shout out to Harrison Mevis. He was, again, ice in his veins in this game. That's really all they need out of him, so to approach. Just continue to do that. But in terms of we're looking like outlook for next week on the game against the Seattle, it's really important that Stafford goes out there and starts moving the ball quickly and just get into a rhythm, because if he does get into a rhythm, I don't see Seattle's getting him out of it. But if he doesn't get into a rhythm and they rely on the run game, it could be a little bit of a wishy-washy sort of game in that sense. Meanwhile, for the Bears, we look at how they're looking right now. Caleb Williams, 23 of 42, 257, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. He kind of had a all over the place game. I didn't really like his attitude on some of the drives where, again, he kind of, at least in the first half, looked a little frustrated, but honestly it didn't matter because he freaking walked down the Rams there. Again, that's probably the best throw we've ever seen, to be honest with you guys. I mean, there's no other way to put it. That was just, it was insane. He did throw 3 interceptions, though. I mean, they were all his fault, to be honest with you guys. I'm going to talk about this with Caleb. I think that it's fair to say he's probably at least top 3 most talented quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Again, you obviously, Justin Herbert, I think, is the most talented quarterback in the NFL. And then you have, like, obviously any of the big 4 there. But at least right now, guys, with Caleb Williams, the highs that he brings into your offense, he's got to be up there. He just has to be. There's just plays he makes that really no one else outside of a couple other guys, even then, they're not of that, I wouldn't say aggressive, but of that nature to make those, to even attempt those plays. That, again, Caleb just does things that, again, no one else really is ever going to do. So, with that in mind, he can't hit the broad side of the bar, and he's really inconsistent at times, and it's really frustrating. But yes, Caleb Williams showed a side that last year, we kind of saw a median of that last year. This year, it was more of this and a little bit backwards in terms of, again, the bad there. But the fact that it went like this is very encouraging, and I think he proved me wrong in a lot of ways. But he did blow this game at the end of the day. I mean, amazing comeback there, but they should have won this game. There's no other way to put it. Running game. DeAndre Swift sucks. I'm going to continue. I think that is what I've come to here. He was bad last year. This year, his numbers are, I guess, better. But with the offensive line he has, he should be doing Saquon Barkley last year's sort of numbers. Kyle Monangai. Anytime he was on the field, they completely stacked the box. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. He got absolutely just stuffed. Was it partly his fault? I mean, I guess so. But realistically, guys, he just didn't really get an opportunity to do a lot in this game. Most of his carries were on those short yardage situations where the Bears, definitely in a lot of, again, ways, didn't look comfortable, look to Caleb Williams to make those plays. Colson Loveland, I mean, he's an absolute beast. What else am I going to say? DJ Moore, everyone's going to talk about the bad route he ran. Obviously not a good route, but he ran the exact same route to a T with Caleb there, and I think it was a lot of both of their issues. And also, I mean, like, bro, read the damn zone. Roma Dunze, I don't know. I guess he was out there. He kind of got tossed a lot. He didn't really look like he wanted to be out there in the cold. Luther Burden, I guess he was out there too. I'll be honest, guys, didn't really remember him being out there. But yeah, their blocking was very encouraging, again, in terms of what we were seeing going into next year. But hey, guys, look at this Bears offense. Again, there wasn't really much else they could have done against this Rams defense outside of the Caleb turnovers. I mean, that was just, the last drive was just absolutely insane. They did it again. They literally did it again. It was just the miscommunication that kind of ruined all of it. Defensively, hats off to them. They actually look like a refined defense. I will say, back then in comment again, damn it. But and forced turnovers. They did I guess they forced 2 fumbles, but they didn't force turnovers. That's just the first thing. No turnover, no takeaways in this game. But again, Dennis Allen, I think, was okay with that because of the fact they played a just very dense package in this game. They really didn't care if the Rams went over the middle. Like, they challenged the Rams to go deep, and the Rams just straight up didn't. Part of the reason they, again, only gave up, 300 yards of offense, 340 yards of offense against. Like, that's why it happened. But on top of that, you look at the D-line. They played their best game this season. I mean, Montez Sweat, fantastic game. Kyle Gordon back was a game changer. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, again, he's usually a playmaker, but he did make different types of plays than we're used to seeing with him. Still good, though. Tremaine Edmonds, solid against the run. I mean, it's just this defense, they stepped up front. Again, that front 7 brought the physicality in this weather. That's just something, again, they haven't really done a lot this year. And again, I was expecting the Rams to be able to put like a crap ton of points on them. The fact, again, they were resisted, and a lot of good techniques by Dennis Allen, really the reason for that. In terms of the yards, you guys saw, the Bears had a lot more in overall. Again, they did go 1 of 3 on 4th down, though, which is one thing I guess you could say, or 3 of 6 on 4th down, which is really the thing I guess you could look at. But overall, guys, I mean, Bears, they deserve to win this game. The Rams also deserve to win this game in a lot of ways. But again, this game looked like it was going to be the Bears. I was saying it. I'm like, they're going to do it again. They're just going to do it. They're inevitable. But the Rams said, you know what? Let's just kind of win this game. But as you guys saw, hats off to the Bears this season, guys. Give them another one. I mean, what else can you say? This was, again, a year with Ben Johnson. Again, this was a very, very, very successful season. But, again, guess they weren't inevitable. Rams, though, see you on Saturday. I won't be seeing y'all until Saturday, but I'll tell you, I've got some good things planned over the week. Other than that, though, enjoy your night. Oh, yeah, Natty, bro. Oof. Give me Indiana by 50.
He set this building record with 41 back in November. This for 40.